didn't get to make it. Okay, welcome. First of all, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us on a Friday evening. It's so funny because usually when planning these things, we have to be very time sensitive about people's time because of different time zones and like life. And like usually Friday at 4 p.m. is never a time that's going to work for anybody. But since the pandemic, it's like, well, where are you going on a Friday night? You're going to hang out with us. So it works out beautifully. So thank you for spending your Friday night with us. I had big plans to shower and get dressed and look presentable. And then I was like, just come as you are. We're a come as you are community. So I'm happy to be here with all of you. We have something very exciting in store. When I first got started in this community of Young Living, I noticed right off the bat that one of the greatest benefits of joining and becoming a member wasn't just the products, it was the people that I got to meet, and it was each and every one of you. And this community is so inspiring in so many ways, and you all bring such incredible strengths and bless my life in so many ways that I wouldn't have otherwise have had without this community. And tonight, I'm really excited for you guys to get to know somebody that I've gotten to know very well through Young Living, who has blessed my life in so many ways. And we met on Instagram as complete strangers. And she messaged me and was very aggressive and said, I want in, I want to do this. Like, just tell me all the things. And I just knew right away I was going to love this person. And as I got to know her, I went to her page and I started flipping through her page, and I felt very intimidated because she was obviously very fit. She was very healthy. She was very young and vibrant. She doesn't have children yet. And I was like, what am I going to have in common with this person? And cut to her being one of my closest friends today. She has saved me in so many ways. She brings her strength and her knowledge and her wisdom on all things nutrition and loving your body for the body that you have and giving it what it needs. And she's been, her and her husband do this for a living, and they have been teaching me and coaching me and leading me. And I just thought it was time to share the love. And I want her to teach all of you guys too, because she's truly changed my life with all of her wisdom. So I'm not going to take up too much of the time. I just wanted to introduce her. And Jodii, would you like to take it away?
All right. Can you guys hear me? Check 1, 2. All right, good. Just making sure we don't have any other audio issues. Well, thank you for the awesome introduction. That was super kind of you. And I love you equally as much, obviously. But I'm really excited to see so many faces here, especially on a Friday night. We are about to get wild with some nutrition knowledge. So something that you should know about me is I am a huge visual learner. I love to see things mapped out in front of me and explained very to the point. Something that I would consider a strength of mine is taking a complex idea and breaking it down super simply. Because when I teach my clients nutrition, the most common thing that I get is I just don't know what to eat. It seems so overwhelming. There are so many diets out there, so many fad diets, no carbs, no fat, keto, fasting, not eating at all. There's so many different ways that we can approach diet. But the reality is what I like to do for the people that I work with and for myself is just bring it back to the basics and just really understand food and what we're putting in our bodies and really break it down in terms of you just need vitamins and minerals, and we literally are what we eat. Whatever we put into our body is what our cells use for energy and what our cells duplicate with. And it has a huge impact on not only our body composition in terms of body fat loss or gain, which is what most people approach nutrition with, the hopes that they'll lose body fat. That's the number one thing that people come to me when I say, what are your goals? It's, I want to lose body fat or I want to gain muscle. But I always try to say okay, that's the superficial stuff. That's human body, human meat sack stuff. But we have to go deeper than that. And what is the food that you're putting in your body doing for you from a health perspective? And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to be a part of Young Living, because when I looked into the products that they have, and not only essential oils, but the home cleaning line, the toxin free, like everything, the supplements, which is what I'm going to talk about tonight, are the highest quality that I've ever seen. They're not comparable, you guys. Like the way that they put everything together is just like so unbelievably good that I really wanted to share that with you guys. But I also really want you guys to walk away from this and learn something. You don't have to remember everything, but I want you to take something away from this that you didn't know before. So I put together a presentation for you guys that you can follow along. And then after this, I'm going to post a link that you can visit my website, and you can just fill in your information, like just your name and your email. And then within the next 24 hours, I will send out that example meal plan that I created for you guys, just to your email. So you're going to get access to it from our Dragon Fruit platform. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Oh, and also I will post, or the slides are already posted there. So if you want to like flip back through them and refer back to something that I already like touched on, you can do that as well. So everything will just be there, the link that I send at the end, okay? So I'm gonna share my screen. I want you guys to let me know if you can see this. Are we good, Lacey? Okay.
Yeah, see if we can see it if you want to make
okay.
it. Yeah, there you go.
So, all right. So just like a little bit of background about me, I'm a silver leader on Lacey's team in Young Living, and I'm obsessed with Young Living. I love it so much. It's like just bringing me so much joy in my life. I started this in July, and I have never had more fun. Honestly, it's like bringing like so much joy to my life. I have a Bachelor of Science in Human Kinetics and a minor in psychology. I'm also an osteopath, and I am certified in sports nutrition. I am the founder of bellavita.com, which is formerly Life Aesthetics Incorporated, which we just recently did a rebrand for about 6 months ago. And I am the CEO of Dragon Fruit app, which we are working on a user interface right now to get this thing programmed and actually have like a full lifestyle platform app. But right now it's like still in the process of being completely finished, but it's still pretty rad. So that is just a little bit about me. All right, so this is what to expect during this little presentation, okay? So I'm gonna go over nutrition basics, okay? Gut health basics, why your diet matters, supplements 101, and then at the end, I'm going to go through the wellness meal plan with you guys, okay? So first things first. I'm trying to hide the, there we go. Okay, that's much better. I had all of your guys' like beautiful photos up at the bottom, but it was hiding my presentation. So, all right. So what is a calorie? So oftentimes when we think of calories in our food, we don't really understand what that means. We know that something's high in calories, but we're not really understanding like what that means when it comes to our body. So all a calorie is simply quantifying how much energy your food contains. So, and then our body requires a certain number of energy or calories per day, and then that is your metabolic rate. So each food has calories in it, and our body requires a specific amount of calories every single day, and that is what is called our metabolic rate. Okay. So everybody has a unique metabolic rate. So my metabolic rate is going to be different than Matt's metabolic rate, and Matt's metabolic rate is going to be different than Lacey's metabolic rate. And that is purely based on pretty much lean muscle and body size overall. Also, if you're male or female. So it's not really able to be changed. A lot of times people think that we can have like a damaged metabolism. That's not really true. Your metabolic rate is pretty much static unless we're dealing with, something like a hormonal imbalance or a thyroid problem or something like that. For the most part, our metabolic rate is pretty static unless we gain or lose body size. Makes sense? All right. So these calories that are in our food are divided into 3 main categories, okay? So we have protein, we have fats, and we have carbs. So some foods can have a combination of protein and fats. So that would be something like, a ground beef would have a protein and a fat, or an egg would have a protein and a fat. Something could also have a fat and a carb. That would be like a donut. Something could also have a protein and a carb, which would be something like an oatmeal or a black bean or something like that. So we can have a combination of protein, fats, and carbs in all of our foods. Some things, though, are just purely protein, like that would be an egg white. Some things are just purely fat. That would be like an oil, so like an avocado oil or an olive oil. And something is just like, some things can be just pure carbs. So that would be like an orange or a banana, okay? So let's just briefly go through protein. So this is how many calories are in 1 gram of protein. So to put it in perspective, break it down for you, a chicken breast is about 150 grams, okay? So if you take a regular sized chicken breast and you put it on a food scale, it's going to weigh 150 grams. So each gram of chicken is going to have 4 calories, okay? So protein builds and repairs our tissue. So if we go and do a workout, we need to eat protein to be able to rebuild our muscle. When you eat protein, our enzymes, our digestive enzymes, specific ones, break down that protein into amino acids, which are important for specific chemical reactions in our body. And they also carry hemoglobin in our blood, which gives us energy. Protein also is important for weight loss. So if you're trying to lose body fat, you want to eat enough protein. 1, because it keeps you full, and 2, because it's going to build lean muscle. And if we go back to that metabolism slide that I just said before, one way to increase your metabolism is to build muscle, because building muscle is more, how do I say this? Metabolically active. So what that means is it's going to utilize more calories versus fat. So if you maintain the exact same weight, but you have more muscle than you do body fat, then you will be able to eat more food because your muscle will require more calories to sustain itself than fat will. Does that make sense? I hope it does. I'm just going to, there we go. Okay. So our minimum protein requirement is 0.8 grams of protein for every kilogram that we weigh. So if you take your body weight and you divide it by 2.2, you will get your kilograms of body weight, all right? Some examples of protein, I don't know if any of you guys are vegan or follow a meat-free diet, so I added some of those in there too, but I did put at the top more like pure sources of protein. So obviously chicken breast, turkey breast, whitefish, egg whites, protein powder. Hemp is actually a vegan source of protein, but it's also a complete protein. Then we have tofu, we have Greek yogurt, beans, lentils, peas. I mean, the list goes on, but these are just like my top ones, okay? Now, we're gonna go to fat. And I am aware that this is a lot of information. So like I said, don't get too hung up in the information. If you guys have specific questions afterwards, feel free to message me. I love having conversations about nutrition, so I would be more than happy to answer any of your guys' questions. You can follow me on Instagram and message me there, or I'll drop my email in the comment box below, or maybe Matt, you can drop my email in the comment box below. Okay, so fat. This is a really important macronutrient, okay? It is the highest in calories per gram, and that is why we don't want to have a lot of fat in our diet. It's really important, or healthy fat is really important for brain function. So omega-3s, DHEA is very important for brain function and development, and it aids in the transportation and absorption of fat-soluble vitamins. So there are 4 vitamins that we need to eat that are only able to be transported and absorbed with the combination of fat. So I want you to remember this point because I'm going to touch on it later when I talk about one of the supplements and why I love it. But there's four fat soluble vitamins, and they're vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, and vitamin K. But fat is also the most concentrated source of energy. So it's the most calorie dense. So you can really overeat on calories with fat. So that's why if something's high in fat, it's also going to be high in calories. So for example, bacon would be really high in calories because it's extremely high in fat. It's also easily stored in adipose tissue, which means fat tissue, okay? So if you eat too much fat, your body can just kind of be like, okay, here you go. I'll just put it in your fat cells because we can save that for later. It helps maintain your body temperature because when you have enough body fat, then you don't get cold. So that was kind of the purpose of fat storage when we were, cavemen, is to maintain our body temperature, but also people would eat a high fat diet because when they would go into, say, like periods where they didn't have a lot of food, then their body would store fat for later and then be able to use it. Kind of like a bear. When a bear goes into hibernation, they eat like a lot of food and then they just like store it and then they sleep all winter so they don't have to eat because they just run off their fat stores. So that's kind of what happens when we eat too much fat, is we'll just store it easier. So fat is something that you really want to make sure that you're not over consuming, but it can be easy to, which I'll talk about in a little bit. So there's 3 types of fat. The best type of fat that you can eat, and the fat that should make up the majority of your diet, is monounsaturated fat. And that is found in nuts, seeds, avocado, olive oil. Any fat that is going to be liquid at room temperature is a good kind of fat, okay? Fats that we want to avoid are saturated fats and trans fats. So saturated fats comes from animal protein mostly. So beef, dairy, cheese, butter. If you've ever made a gravy and then you leave it on the stove and then it hardens, that is like a saturated fat or a trans fat. And then think about that. So if if butter is solid at room temperature and then it's going into your body, well, it's probably also going to turn into a solid. That's when we can get into issues with, high cholesterol and heart disease, because those solid fats can get stuck in our arteries. Same thing with trans fats, so baked goods and shortening. Now, the FDA actually, it's kind of illegal to put trans fats in foods in a high amount. But you should really only have less than 1% of trans fats in your diet daily. So I broke this down for you guys. So if you had, say, 55 grams of fat in your diet, that means that you should only really have half a gram of trans fats per day. So it's not a lot. Carbs. So carbs are the one thing that I find most people are scared of. A lot of times, when I do a consultation with a client, the first thing, or even when I'm working with clients for a prolonged period of time and I want to increase the carbs in their diet, it's usually something that triggers a little bit of fear. And that's because we don't really understand what a carb is or what a carb's purpose is. So I have a kind of cool way of explaining this. And this is kind of the way that I explain this to my clients. So when you eat carbs, it's your primary energy source. So if you're going for a run or you're doing a workout, you want to have carbohydrates because that's going to give your body energy. Carbs are broken down into glucose by specific digestive enzymes. And then when you have sugar in your blood, your pancreas releases insulin. Insulin is think of insulin like a taxi or like a messenger. So it goes to your cells and it knocks on the door of your cells and it says, hey, we have a lot of blood sugar in our blood. Will you guys open up and let us in so that you guys can use us as energy? The only problem is when you overconsume carbs and you don't have anywhere to store them. When you don't have anywhere to store them and you're constantly elevating your blood sugar all the time and there's no room left. So they're all the hotels are at maximum capacity. Then there's just blood sugar around in your blood, which isn't healthy for you. So then that insulin is going to say, okay, well, we have to put it somewhere. So guess where it's going to put it? It's going to put it in your fat cells. So that's the only time when carbs can really impact fat gain or body fat gain, is when we have too much sugar. But not all carbs are created equal. So I wanted to talk about this for a second because oftentimes we see these nutrition labels on our foods, but we don't really understand how to read them and we don't really know what is bad or good. So I wanted to take a look at something that obviously is delicious and a lot of people love, but I wanted to break this down for you. So in one medium-sized DQ Blizzard, okay, we have 1,000 calories, we have 40 grams of fat, and out of that 40 grams of fat, remember those 2 bad fats that I told you about? Well, 24 of those is saturated fat, and we already have 2 days worth of our trans fats. So that's just in a DQ blizzard. That's not considering, popcorn that we might eat at the movie, or, chips that we might snack on, or cookies that are in our cupboard, or ice cream that's even in our freezer. So it's very easy to overconsume unsaturated and trans fats that are really bad for your heart and your blood sugar. Not only that, but in a blizzard or something like this, you're combining extremely high carbohydrates, a lot of sugar, pure sugar, okay? And also really high fat. So this type of food has a really high propensity to store as body fat in your fat cells because, one, it's far too many calories for you to consume at once. Two, it's fat. So we don't have the need for that many grams of fat in one meal. Pair that with also your blood sugar is going to be extremely elevated. So your insulin is going to be like, we have to put this fat and carbs somewhere. And if it doesn't have any room to put it in your muscles or in your liver, and you're not working out to utilize those carbs and that sugar, then guess where it's going to go? Straight to your fat cells. And it's also going to impact your heart and your blood pressure and everything in a negative way. So it's really important to be careful when we're choosing these types of foods, because oftentimes we assume like, oh, it's only a treat. It is only a treat, but it's not good for your health long term, because if you were to eat only even one of these per week, you're pretty much still over your saturated fat and trans fat and sugar requirements for your body, even on a weekly basis. So it's important to try to find a healthier substitution for things like this, or make it a really rare treat. All right, so this is what I wanted to talk about with the carbs. So oftentimes we are scared of carbs because we assume, carbs are pizza and pasta and bagels and breads, but not all carbs are created equal. So these are what I call culture carbs, okay? These are what people think of when we think about carbs right off the bat. People say, oh, I have to cut out carbs because bagels or pasta or pizza or donuts or chips or ice cream or soda or cereal make me gain body fat. When in reality, there's a lot of really healthy carbohydrates like oats, quinoa, rice, sweet potato, yams, fruit, vegetables, and beans. So the thing that's wrong with these foods is that they're really low in nutrients. Like soda has no vitamins and minerals, either does ice cream or chips or donuts or pizza. They're also high in trans fat. So a lot of these foods are not only carbs, but they are sugar, processed sugar, and they are fat and added fat and factory made fat. So when we think of cutting out carbs, oftentimes we're actually cutting out sugar and fat that are combined, that I call a hyperpalatable food. Hyperpalatable means that they taste good. So obviously a donut tastes good, but of course it tastes good. It's fat and sugar combined, right? But again, going back to the slide previous, that's going to make us gain body fat and also be really hard on our liver, our kidneys, and our pancreas, okay? So when we're talking about eating carbs, we can eat lots of carbs. Carbs are very good for our body. Things like these types of food are packed with nutrients and vitamins and minerals. They're high in fiber, and they don't have any added fat. They also don't have any added sugar except for naturally occurring sugar. So something to remember is sugar from fruit isn't bad. Sugar from fruit actually is processed through our liver, and it actually helps our liver. And it's actually so packed with nutrients and antioxidants that you can kind of eat fruit without worrying about it. But these are the things that you want to be really cautious of: the ice creams and the sodas and the donuts and the pastas, because those things are going to have added sugar. But naturally occurring sugar from, fruits and vegetables and berries and things like that are going to be really good for your liver. They're going to be really important for detox and to give your body the nutrients and vitamins and minerals that it needs. Okay. They also keep us full because they have fiber in them. So it's not about what we eat. It's about what our microbes eat. So oftentimes, I don't know if you've heard of the saying, like, you are what you eat. Well, not really. It's kind of like you are what you eat, because it's what feeds your gut bacteria. And that is what I'm going to talk about next. So humans are made of 100 trillion microbes. They live on the inside of our mouth, on the inside of our nose, on our skin, but most of them live in our gut. And when we think of our gut, oftentimes we think of our stomach, but it's not our stomach. It's actually our large intestine. And it's this little pocket in our large intestine, and that's where all these bacteria live, both good and bad. Another really cool fact about your gut is that every person's microbiome is unique. So everybody's microbiome is different. It's like a fingerprint. So, and it's also an acquired organ. So you can change it as you kind of like change your diet. So your microbiome will change as you change your diet. And when you have little kids, if anybody has little kids, that's why kids get sick so much. Like they'll always like catch a flu or a cold at like daycare because they don't have a super diverse microbiome. But as they get sick and their immune system starts to develop and they eat more foods and they feed those healthy gut bacteria, that's how they can build a strong immune system. So what you feed your bacteria in your gut is going to determine the ratio of good bacteria. This is going to be my little good bacteria, and this is my little bad bacteria, okay? So the bad bacteria will be like a virus or, bad bacteria that would be like overtaking good bacteria and preventing things like proper hormone production or metabolization. Or also they can like make you literally sick. They can make you bloated and they can prevent you from absorbing good nutrients, okay? So here's my little good bacteria colony. And a diverse and healthy microbiome is important for your immune system. Okay, so they fight bad pathogens, nutrient absorption because they help to break down and digest certain nutrients. They're important for digesting fiber, and they're important for preventing dysbiosis, which is leaky gut. So your gut, or that part of your large intestine, has a barrier, okay, and it prevents bad bacteria and viruses from leaking out into your bloodstream. So oftentimes, people say, oh, I think I have, an unhealthy gut because I have acne. So what can sometimes happen is your gut can become leaky because of an imbalanced good to bad bacteria ratio. And then those, those viruses and like inflammatory markers can kind of like leak out of your gut, and then they can cause inflammation and acne in your skin. Also preventing SIBO, which is small intestine bacteria overgrowth. So that's when the bad bacteria are so high in your large intestine that they can almost seep up into your small intestine, which can cause extremely bad digestive issues and acid reflux. Not good. Skin health and anti-inflammation. Awesome. Just like I said, with those cytokine releases, they can cause inflammation in your skin and acne. Also, 95% of your happy hormone serotonin is released in your gut, or is produced in your gut, sorry. So a lot of mental health issues, depression, anxiety, things like that, can be really directly correlated to a neurochemical imbalance from a imbalanced gut microbiome. So that's really important to consider too. I don't know if like you've ever felt like bloated or like your stomach is hurting and you almost feel this sense of like unease. Your gut is extremely related to that. It's actually called your second brain. Also, our gut bacteria is important for production of some vitamins, vitamin B and vitamin K. So we feed both of these, the good guys and the bad guys. It's not enough, you guys, to just take a probiotic. That's another like common mistake that I hear people making is like, I don't know why I'm always bloated. I take a prebiotic or a probiotic. Well, the probiotics are the good bacteria. Like you're literally putting these guys into your gut. But the problem is if you're putting those probiotics into your gut, but then you're only eating like sugar and processed food, and you're not eating any prebiotic fiber like asparagus, apples, kale, garlic, kombucha, apple cider vinegar, broccoli, vegetables, and you're not giving these good guys anything to eat, and you're only feeding these guys, well, these guys are still going to overtake these guys and kill them. So putting good bacteria into your gut isn't good enough. You have to put the good bacteria in, you have to stop feeding these guys, and then you have to feed these guys. So that's why diet is so important to your gut health, in addition to a probiotic. So you kind of have to target the underlying issue first and then introduce good guys into your gut so that they can help fight off the bad guys versus vice versa. So something I do with my clients is I do a discovery week. And I know some of my clients are on this Zoom right now. And what I do is for a full week, they just send me photos of their food. I don't tell them what it's good or bad. I don't give them any feedback. I literally just observe. I observe what they reach for, when their blood sugars are imbalanced, why they're craving certain things, at what time of the day are they craving certain things. And this is like a common pattern. Now, this isn't what everyone eats. So like, and I'm not judging, okay, first of all, but this is just really like a common way that most people eat. So in the morning, we're usually up, we're rushing around, we're trying to get our kids out the door. We're just grabbing a coffee. Normally, we're not taking the time to actually eat breakfast. So we'll either grab a bagel or a piece of toast, something quick, or cereal. And then we maybe grab a coffee. So what you're doing is you're starting your day off and you're putting an acidic beverage into your body, usually with milk and sugar. And then you're putting a processed and refined grain paired with a fat, usually cheese or an egg or something like that. So you're giving your body kind of a hard first meal to break down. Also, it's important to know that one of the reasons why I love the Ningxia challenge is a lot of people are drinking Ningxia in the morning, which is so good. One, because it's putting antioxidants and hydration into your body before we grab for our coffee. And two, it's like giving your body those minerals and it's giving your body some natural energy, because overnight your body detoxes, and what we put in our body first is the most important meal of the day. That's why they say breakfast is the most important meal of the day. It's not because of the time that we eat. You could eat breakfast at 1 p.m. It doesn't matter, but it's the first type of food that you put in your body is the most easily absorbed. And so that's why breakfast is the most important meal of the day. So then we usually go through our morning and we might either grab like a yogurt or a granola bar, but both of those are high in added sugars. And then we usually get to lunch and maybe we, pre-COVID, maybe we would go and we would grab lunch with some coworkers, or maybe we'd grab a sandwich, or maybe we'd grab some takeout or go through a drive-through. And then at night, we usually finish our day with a heavier meal, something like pasta or takeout or chili or something like that, that is going to be sitting a little bit heavier. And then what happens is our blood sugar will elevate at dinner, and then it will crash around 8 or 9 o'clock. And then you get snacky. And then you reach for the high calorie dense foods like chips, ice cream, cookies, whatever is in your cupboard. So you can see that our blood sugars are going up and down all day. And also we're typically not having enough phytonutrients. So when I analyze diets and I just average this out, most people are eating hardly any prebiotic fiber. Sugar averages on diets that I take a peek at is usually between 60 and 80 grams of sugar per day. And usually 3,000 to 3,200, I've seen higher average calorie intake per day. And this is just like based on, I've worked with close to 5,000 people, and this is just based on like an average. So this is like not uncommon, and it's very easy to do. So I wanted to go over like 5 easy changes that you can make that will make a huge difference. The first thing is start with water. I always tell my clients, like, you can have a coffee. I'm not telling you to cut out your morning coffee. However, start with water. Fill up, get a water bottle and fill up a liter of water. And, I add some lemon vitality and I add my Ningxia into there, and I will force myself to drink that before I will allow myself to have a coffee. The second thing is reduce trans and saturated fats. Opt for like lean proteins versus like beef or pork or bacon. Switch to turkey bacon. Reducing those fats that are going to be solid at room temperature, which is a really easy way to think about it. Anything that's liquid at room temperature, go for it. Anything that's solid at room temperature, limit it. And then limit like baked goods, cookies, anything that's like going to be packaged. I'm not saying you have to cut it out completely, but reducing that will make a huge impact. Also, reduce your processed sugar and switch to fruit instead. Like I said, fruit feeds your liver. It's very good for you. It has lots of nutrients in it, but processed sugar is only going to wreak havoc on our pancreas and our body. Try to add some vitamins and minerals and antioxidants. So that's where Ningxia comes in. Like the antioxidants in Ningxia are so powerful. And vitamins and minerals, like add some vegetables, steam your vegetables. You can buy frozen vegetables. That's another question I get asked often is, can I have frozen vegetables instead of fresh vegetables? And yes, and try to opt for organic vegetables as much as you can, because they're going to be higher in minerals than non-organic vegetables. And then you also want to feed and promote your good gut bacteria by taking a probiotic and also eating greens. So now I want to go through the supplements, which I'm really excited about. I really dove deep into these supplements and really looked at the ingredients because I wanted to show you guys, like, the supplements that Young Living has are like top notch, and I'm going to show you why. So Matt and I take all of these 5 supplements that I'm going to show you right now. So the first one is Master Formula, and I want to show you why I love it. So it comes in 3 different capsules. Okay. So the first one is a liquid vitamin capsule. Remember in my slide back there where I said, remember the fat soluble vitamins? Well, our liquid vitamin capsule has vitamin A, vitamin D3, vitamin E, and K2, and turmeric. So this is in a liquid because those are fat soluble vitamins. So they are suspended in a fat so that they can be easily absorbed. They also have these essential oils in them, which is really rad. Then the second capsule that you're going to get in your little blister pack is filled with micronized nutrients, which means that they took the nutrients and they made them really, really, really small so that they're easy for us to absorb. So we have B12, zinc, selenium, copper, manganese, folic acid, which is really important if you're going to get pregnant. That's a really important one that you want to have in there. Boron, olive leaf, wolfberry, which is in Ningxia, sweet orange, spirulina, barley grass, Norwegian kelp. These are all really, really important minerals, and minerals are important for like cellular, like our cells to work properly, and also for like our muscles to contract and for our heart to beat. So this is an amazing nutrient capsule that has all of those packed in. And then you get a third caplet, which is a phytocaplet. And this has all of your electrolytes, like your potassium. And then it also has metabolism supporting supplements in there, like your green coffee bean and your green tea extract. So I love Master Formula. It is honestly, it's the best multivitamin that I've ever seen because of the way that the caplets are kind of divided. I love that they put the fat soluble vitamins together with some essential oils. And then they also have your nutrients, like your micronutrients, and then they have your phytonutrients. So it's amazing. I mean, this covers so many different things. The second one is Life 9. So we're going to go back to those little bacteria guys that I had in an earlier slide. And these little caplets are filled with those guys. So these are the 9 probiotics that Life 9 has. So all of these are really important for example, this one is really good for your skin. So this is actually prescribed to treat acne. This one, digest dietary fiber. They can prevent and treat diarrhea. If you have IBS, taking a probiotic is really important. They help to metabolize nutrients. They suppress harmful pathogens, so things that make you sick. They help to digest lactose. They fight bacteria. They're good for your skin health. They prevent yeast infections. They're good for respiratory health. They're anti-inflammatory. So all of these different bacteria go down there in your gut and they like work to provide your body with protection against illness. And then they also help with digesting. They also help to, treat acne. They help with inflammation. So this probiotic has 9 different strains of beneficial probiotics. And it is honestly full spectrum. And it's one of the best ones that I've ever looked at. Number 3 is the omega, which again, I love, and I'm going to show you why. Because it has omega-3, but it also has that D3 in there. And D3 is a fat soluble vitamin. So Young Living was genius when they paired the vitamin D with the omega. I was like, this is just brilliant because when you put a D3 in with a fat, it's going to help it absorb better. Also, it's going to help with normal immune response. It's going to improve your energy. It's going to reduce LDL cholesterol, which is the bad type of cholesterol. It's good for your eye, skin, and joint health. It's anti-inflammatory. It's good for your brain. So yeah, this is an awesome omega, and it also has CoQ10 in it, spearmint leaf oil, and German chamomile. So I love that they combine the essential oils in with it. I think that's really rad. So 4 is digestive enzymes. Now these are different than a probiotic. So these digestive enzymes are going to include pancreolipase. So this has 3 different enzymes in it. So lipase, which helps to digest fats into fatty acids, protease, which helps digest protein into amino acids, and amylase, which helps digest starches into sugars. So having these 3 in there helps you to digest and break down your food into the particles that your body can actually use. And then this one is really unique because it's difficult for us to get energy from vegetables, because if we can't break them down, then we can't really utilize it. It doesn't turn into sugar the same way. So cellulase is really important because it helps to break down the insoluble plant carbohydrate into beta glucose, which is a slower sugar, okay? So it provides your body with energy for a longer period of time. And then these essential oils are all really good for your pancreas. So it's pretty awesome. And then the last one is multigreens. This is one that honestly I would recommend everyone getting because 1, we don't need enough greens. Nobody does for the amount that we actually need. 2, it's really important for blood sugar control and for minerals, and also really important to detox your liver. We put a lot of stress on our liver with, chemicals in our environment, with the foods that we eat, even drinking alcohol will put an extremely taxing stress on your liver. So having these greens are really important, but it's difficult to eat them. Also, a lot of the greens that we get in our diet are highly sprayed with pesticides. So what that means is those pesticides can actually bind to the minerals in our vegetables and pull the minerals out of our vegetables. So pesticides impact the plant on a cellular level, meaning that when a crop is sprayed with a pesticide, it goes into the plant and it affects it on a cellular level. So that's why you can't really wash the pesticides off of your fruit and vegetables as much as I wish we could. We can't. And also it does take out some of the minerals in our food. So having a multigreens capsule like this is going to give you all of these benefits. Bee pollen is amazing for immune support. Bee pollen actually has all of the nutrients that a human being needs to live on. Now, obviously it doesn't have the calories that we need to live on, but it is like a full spectrum, like superfood. So I love that that's in there as well. Barley grass juice is extremely detoxifying for your liver. Spirulina is really high in minerals, same with alfalfa and Pacific kelp. And then these are amino acids that are really important for your body because our bodies cannot make them. So that is why I love the multi-greens. And then obviously I had to throw in Ningxia Red because I'm obsessed and I know y'all are too. But this is so high in antioxidants. So just like we don't get enough minerals and vitamins from the fruit that we eat, I don't know about you, but I'm probably not going to be eating like 5 cups of berries. My husband actually probably does eat 5 cups of berries. He lives on blueberries, but I don't think that anybody's eating 4 pounds of carrots or a pint of orange juice to get this many antioxidants. And antioxidants are important because we're in contact with free radicals. Even when you exercise, you have free radicals floating around in your body. So having these antioxidants allows your body to flush out and get rid of those free radicals and prevents things like, cancer and disease. So I love Ningxia. I actually love the little packs, but you can get them in a big bottle, and just 1 ounce has the antioxidant power of all of these awesome fruits and vegetables. So if you are not on the Ningxia train yet, you should be. So I also wanted to briefly touch on essential rewards, because if you guys are already a Young Living member and you are not on essential rewards, using your supplements on your essential rewards order is what I recommend to all my clients. So every client that I work with is a Young Living member, and I get them to set up their supplements through the essential rewards program. Why? Because you can easily log in and you can shop, but you're going to miss out on reduced or free shipping. You're not going to get any of the awesome rad monthly promos that Young Living offers. So each month they have like 4 or 5 products that they give you to spend depending on how much you spend. And then also, this is the best part, you earn money back on everything that you buy. So if you put through an order for your supplements for $200 versus going down the road to the health food store and spending $200, after 3 months, you're going to collect 20% back on your supplement order. And that's when you could use that. Like I cashed in, I order all my supplements, Matt and I order them on his account. So I cashed in all of his points just by ordering our supplements for 2 months. And I bought myself all new makeup with it. So it's like extremely awesome because you're going to buy these products anyway. It's better than going to the health food store because you know the quality that you're getting and you're earning points back. So I made this little graphic. If you guys do not know how to sign up for Essential Rewards, you can message someone that will help you, myself or Lacey or any of the other leaders on this call. But it's super easy. And the thing is you can customize your order every month. You can change your shipping day. So it's really easy. You can like, if you don't want to ship it on the 10th, you can change that day to the 15th. It's pretty much just like shopping, but you get these perks. So if you're going to order your supplements, I would definitely recommend signing up for Essential Rewards because it gets delivered right to your door and it's super convenient. And then, so I put together a little wellness bundle for you guys. So this is all the supplements. These are the item numbers. The Canadian item number is on top, okay? The US item number is on the bottom. I also put together the price for Canadian and US. So, I mean, and this will last you, some of these will last you 2 months. Some of them will last you a month. But like I said, once you start using these, you will feel and notice the difference in your body and like you just will not go back. So that is my little presentation.
That was amazing. You just like blew so many minds wide open. If you could see the text messages and DMs that you were missing that whole time.
I know. Well, I was trying, like, first I hid all of your faces because I was trying to see my own presentation. But then I was like, wait, what if like they can't hear me? Or what if my like sound cuts out and I can't even see if anyone's typing to me? So I had to like open it back up a couple of times.
It was perfect and brilliant. I love you. Again, mind blown. So do you want to share your screen and show everyone the meal plan they're going to get?
I do. So I wanted to show you guys a meal plan that I created. Now, disclaimer, this is not nutritional advice. I do not know you guys on a personal level. You've not filled out a questionnaire, so this is not designed for you. However, it is a meal plan that is very healthy and that is really awesome and delicious, and you guys can all try it. It doesn't mean you have to follow it every day, but take it as structure. If you guys are looking for something more specific for you and you do want to have a conversation with me, like I said, feel free to reach out and I would be more than happy to connect with you and help you set up something more custom. But this is something that you guys are going to all get for free. So just give me 1 second. I'm going to make sure that I have the right screen pulled up here. Okay. Let's do this. All right, so this is our dragon fruit platform. So you can see at the top, this is the nutritional information for this meal plan, okay? So we have 45 grams of fat, 150 grams of carbs, and 130 grams of protein. You'll see that we have 25 grams of fiber, 37 grams of sugar prescribed, but this meal plan actually only has 10 grams of sugar, you guys. And then I set the sodium at about 1.5 grams, which is like average for like pretty much every human. Like, I mean, athletes can definitely eat more if you're like doing a lot of sweating or like a lot of cardio, but I kept the sodium on the lower end because people tend to add salt to their food or it's just easy to overconsume. So
Jodii,
let's start.
Do you zoom in on it a little more?
Yeah, I'm going to zoom.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that better?
Yeah, much better.
Okay. So we're going to start in the morning, like I said, with a hydration station. So this is what I do every single day. I come down and I pour 500 mils of filtered water. I add either lemon, lime, or orange vitality. I throw in my Ningxia in there. And that's when I will take my Life 9 and my essential zymes. And that's because you want to put those in your body before you start eating your food so that they can kind of go to work. So like, they're like, hey, good bacteria, wake up. We need to like digest some food here soon. Okay. So then about 30 minutes later, that's when you're going to have your breakfast. So I took the classic breakfast sandwich that we typically eat. And I just did a little bit of a switch up. So we did 1 whole egg. Organic and free range is going to be best, but whatever you can. Egg whites. Okay. You're going to make a little omelet with some spinach. We're going to get some good prebiotic fiber and some nutrients in early. I love sprouted grain bread. It's going to be a little bit lower on the glycemic index. And also this one I love because it has flax seeds in it. So it is a little bit higher in fat, but you're getting those healthy fats from the flax seeds. And then you're going to have avocado as your fat versus maybe on your normal breakfast sandwich, you might, add mayo or cheese. We're going to do avocado because it tastes amazing and it's a really healthy fat. It's high in monounsaturated fats, just like we talked about in the fat slide. Then this is when you're going to take your first 3 supplements. So you're going to take your multivitamin. You want to take a multivitamin with food because sometimes taking pills on an empty stomach like that can upset your stomach. And also with all the vitamins in there, you want to make sure that you have some food to help, digest those, and especially the fat soluble vitamins, the multigreens, okay, and then your omega. So this is like a nutrient-packed breakfast that is high in protein, high in complex carbs, and high in healthy fats. And then you're priming your body with good water, good hydration already, and then some good supplements. So the second meal I took from a classic, like yogurt in the morning. Maybe we do, an Activia that's sweetened, with sugar. And I love coconut yogurt. So this is the brand that I use, but any coconut yogurt should be fine. Just check the sugar on the back and make sure that it's not sweetened. So I use plain coconut yogurt, and then I use a vegan protein. I love the Beyond Yourself vegan. You can get it on Amazon. It's vanilla, actually. I'll grab it. Hold on. So this is the protein that I use. This is what it looks like. It's a vegan protein. So I just find this one tastes really good. I know actually Young Living has a protein powder, but they do not in Canada. So that is why I don't use the Young Living one. But Young Living has a protein powder, so use the Young Living one. But this is also really good. So then you're going to add some blueberries. I love frozen blueberries because if you're taking this as a snack to work, by the time you eat it, it's going to be like almost like I don't know, like the blueberries kind of melt and it's just so delicious. And then chia seeds for some healthy prebiotic fiber and fat. So this meal, like after you eat this, you should be pretty full until, a couple hours later. And then you get to have this snack, but there's nothing that's going to spike your blood sugar in this. You're getting the fat and the fiber from this and the fat from the yogurt. So it's going to keep your blood sugar slow and steady. And it's not going to provide too much of a blood sugar or an insulin spike. Right? So remember, we don't want to have an insulin spike because if we have too much sugar, then we're going to store that sugar in our fat cells and we don't want that. So then lunch. So I took a classic sandwich that we might normally make and I just made it a little bit healthier. So I added some cucumber, I added some lettuce, I added some alfalfa sprouts, but you can add anything that you want here in terms of vegetables. Hummus. I love hummus. It's pretty low calorie. You can see it's only like 40 calories versus like a mayo or something like that. And then I love the Sprouted Hills sprouted tortillas, but any sprouted tortilla would be fine, or even a whole grain tortilla, honestly, if you can't find those or if you don't have access to them. Any tortilla here would be a good option as long as it's not like a white tortilla, okay? So then you're going to probably eat that meal maybe around like 1 or 2. You're probably going to be like pretty full. So then you're going to come home and I made a healthy version of a pasta. So instead of, regular noodles that's like full of like wheat gluten, I love red lentil pasta. And the reason why I love red lentil pasta is 1, because it has protein in it. 2, because it's a low glycemic carb and it has lots of nutrients in it. And also it cooks well. So I find a lot of the gluten-free pastas or a lot of the rice pastas, when you cook them, they almost turn mushy. And I hate that because pasta is one of my favorite foods and I don't want to cut it out and I don't want to eat mushy pasta. So I love red lentil pasta. And then ground turkey, 95% lean. So you're saving on so much fat. I'm going to show you actually. So I'm going to show you ground beef instead. So look, so right here, see how this says 4.5 grams? See how it's double? Ground beef is double the amount of fats as ground turkey. So I like ground turkey instead. So then we're going to do some organic tomato sauce and then broccoli, mushrooms, onion, and garlic. And these are all good prebiotic fiber to feed your good gut bacteria. So it's awesome because you're not just having a sugary pasta with a sugary sauce and a high fat. We're switching to a lower fat, a more complex carbohydrate We're using, you know, only a little bit of tomato sauce. And then we're adding some good vegetables in there to slow down the blood sugar spike and also give our bodies some good nutrients and prebiotic fiber. And then at night, this is actually a meal that Lacey has in her meal plan. It's maybe a little bit different than the one you have in your meal plan, but it's fun because typically at night we do get a little bit snacky. And I just think that's kind of boredom. And we're also living through a pandemic. So I'm not one to be like, starve it out. I just don't like that mentality when it comes to dieting. So what I did was I made a nighttime snack. Now you can move this to any part of your day. You don't have to have it at night. You can rearrange these meals as you please, but you're going to start with some gluten-free oats. You're going to add some water, a little bit of sea salt. You're going to mix it up and you're going to pop it in your microwave for about 1.5 minutes. When it's almost cooked, but like still kind of creamy, you're going to add just 30 grams of egg whites, not too much. Pop it back in your microwave. Then you're going to take it out. You're going to add in half a scoop of vegan protein, some cocoa, which is actually also a prebiotic fiber. Stevia sweetened chocolate chips, only 5 grams, but trust me, it's enough. And then you're going to sprinkle some sea salt on the top. And then this is when you're going to take your last serving of your omega because you want to space them out. So this is a good option, a good time to take it. So I also put the instructions there. So this is kind of just like I said, it's an example meal plan that you guys can kind of all follow. You can adjust it as you please. There's no need to follow it perfectly, but it's just kind of a guide. And like I said, if you want to kind of chat more about something more specific for you, I would love to do that. So.
That oatmeal snack is my favorite, and my kids turned their nose up at it the first time I made it. And as I was sitting on the couch eating it, they both like made their way over and asked for a bite, and now they ask for it. They actually referred to Jodii as the oatmeal girl.
They actually referred to me as the oatmeal girl because I had to, Matt and I were making the oatmeal on FaceTime with Lacey one night and her kids were there. And now her kids are like, is that the oatmeal girl? I am the oatmeal girl.
So Jodii, go ahead and put in the chat the link. Jodi's going to put the link in the chat now so you guys can get this slide. So all her slides will be available to you so you can go through and look back on anything that you want to revisit or that you might have missed. It's really beautiful, this link she set up. And also scroll to the bottom and fill out your name and email, and then it will generate within the next 24 hours. The meal plan will come to your email. Correct, Jodii?
Yes. So I'll screen share again and I'll just show you guys. Hold on. I'll pull up the website first and I'll just show you guys what it looks like just so that when you get there, I want to make sure that you guys get this. So I'm just going to pull it up. Okay. So this is what you're going to see when you come here. Okay. So the slide shows here if you want to flip through it and refer back to it, like I said. And then if you scroll down, all you have to do is put your name, your last name, and your email. And then Matt and I are actually going to be hosting some future nutrition seminars, which is why I was so stoked that Lacey asked me to do this with you guys, is because this is something that I'm really into and I want to start doing more of. So if you're interested in attending future Bella Vita Live events, you can click yes. If no, I won't be offended. And then you can claim your free nutrition guide. Now, if you want to work with me, for coaching, you can also click here and it will take you to what VIP life coaching includes, and you can book a consultation. So
that was an unbelievable presentation, Jodii. I cannot thank you enough for sharing your time and your wisdom with all of us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Does anybody have any questions? We are finished and complete. If you want to go ahead and go fill out the form to get your free nutrition guide. And if you have somewhere to be, feel free to hop off. But I know we have some time. If anybody wants to, let me change that you guys can unmute yourselves. You can unmute yourself and pop in and ask a question if you have one.
I also just put my Instagram, it's just Hey Jodii, in the chat. So if you guys want to follow me on Instagram, and maybe you have a maybe more personal question that you might not want to type in the chat, that's okay too. You can feel free to private message me and I will always be happy to get back to you. But if you do have a question, like I seen one, like not eating carbs at night is like a bad thing. And I think Matt may have answered it, but that's also a really common myth is like, I can't eat carbs before bed. But again, remember, it's total glucose per day. So it's total sugar per day. So you can still gain body fat if you eat too many carbs at 10 in the morning and you're sitting at your desk. It doesn't matter what time of the day you eat carbs, it's about total energy balance. So making sure that you're eating enough calories for your body, the right amount, that you're not in an energy surplus so that your body's not storing body fat. And then also that you're not in a sugar surplus so that you don't have sugar floating around in your bloodstream.
And that is, to clarify, Jodii with 2 eyes. It's Hey Jodii, and there's 2 eyes.
Hey Jodii with 2 eyes. Yeah, people call me Jodii with 1 eye, but it's actually Jodii with 2 eyes, but it's okay if you call me Jodii with 1 eye, I won't hate you.
You're unique, so the spelling has to be unique.
Everything's with 2 eyes. I use 2 eyes in like things that shouldn't have 2 eyes.
Does anybody have any questions? Again, you can feel free to unmute yourself. Don't be shy. We're a wild and crazy bunch here.
And I know sometimes it's difficult to like come up with questions on the spot. So like I said, if you think of one and you're like, oh, I wish I would have asked that, just like totally feel free to message me. And one more thing, I don't know if I think Lacey said this, but I'll just like double say it. Once you fill out your information, it's not like an automatic email download. I actually have to like make you a copy of it and then send it to you. So you're going to get a link, which is going to be a live link. So it's not going to be a PDF. That means that you can like actually like choose foods from the drop-down menu from the food database and everything. So you'll have your meal plan within 24 hours. Okay.
Erin, did you have something
you guys for coming and joining me on this wild Friday night? Thank you for hosting, Lacey.
I think Erin Scott has a question.
Oh, you were fantastic. I really, really appreciate all of the information and just the balance. And it is so overwhelming, but you put it in a way that I could, my dog's barking now, so sorry, but you were
no, it's okay.
Understandable. And I took so many screenshots of all of the things that you taught.
Good. I'm so happy that you found value in it. I was like, I really want to make sure that, you know, it is broken down in a way that is easy to understand, but also has all the knowledge, because there is a lot of knowledge, but it is really important, right? But it doesn't always have to be so overwhelming and complex. It's very basic, and really like the same nutrition principles apply to everyone. So no matter, you know, if you just want to be healthy, or if you want to lose a little bit of body weight, if you're dealing with hormonal imbalances, if you're dealing with digestive issues, this information applies to you. There's nothing fancy. Like, you know, nutrition doesn't have to be complex, and it doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to go back to the basics, real food and good quality supplements. And that's honestly like the foundation of health.
So my one question, I'm looking on the essential enzyme, or however you say that. There's 2 different ones on the website. Is there a difference between the 2, or are they the same? Because one says like essential enzyme 4 and it's in a box, and one of them's in the bottle.
It's
a good question.
The one in the bottle. In the US, we have 2, but it's the one in the bottle.
Okay. Is there a difference between them?
That's
I'm not 100% sure, but if you can send me the 2, because we don't have 2 in Canada, I can look up the difference. But I don't know, actually. I don't know why there's 2.
Right. Well, I saw I got the same ones. So, and I placed my order already, because you know it's gonna all go out of stock. So
yeah, no kidding, right? Everyone's gonna get off and go place their order. I love it. I love it. You're welcome.
I have a question. I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm so happy that you found value in it.
Thank you, Jodii. You were awesome.
You are so welcome. I'm happy that you enjoyed it.
Yay.
Amazing presentation, Jodii.
Thanks, friend. I appreciate you. I'm happy to see you here.
So awesome.
We should do another class soon. Yeah, we should.
We're gonna be doing these every month. This month was focused on nutrition and supplements. I think next month we're going to be doing hormonal support, right?
Yeah, we're going to do hormones and like stress and hormones, and hormonal support, and oils for hormones, and supplements for hormones. So
Yes.
that'll be a good one.
So stay tuned for that.
I'll put together another rad presentation.
Yay. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for
Amazing.
joining us. It was so
All
good to
right, you
see all
guys,
of
thank you so much. And
Love you all.
I'll talk to you
Thank
soon.
you.
Okay, bye, friends.
Bye.
Bye.